Italy's high-speed rail is amazing. It has some of the most beautiful and fastest high-speed trains in the world at up to 300 kilometers per hour. The trains are fast, efficient, very modern, and travel to almost all parts of the country. There are two high-speed train operators in Italy, Trenitalia under the brand name Frecciarossa and Nuovo Trasporto Viaggiatori under the brand name ITALO. So today in this video I am comparing their fastest flagship trains. The Frecciarossa 1000, the flagship of the Frecciarossa fleet, built under a consortium of Hitachi Rail Italy and Bombardier as the Bombardier Zefiro ETR 1000, and the ITALO AGV, built by Alstom as the Alstom AGV high-speed train, both of them reaching speeds of up to 300 km per hour. We will compare the two trains and their operators under the following aspects. First, the route network, then the route frequency, train classes, interior, seat comfort, ride quality or ride comfort, onboard passenger information, food options, price, and the website and booking. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. The Frecciarossa route network is massive. It serves almost all cities in mainland Italy, both on the Adriatic East Coast and the Mediterranean West Coast. The most important routes are Milan to Rome and Naples and Salerno, and Turin to Milan, Venice and the south of Italy. And they even have an international service to Lyon and Paris in France. Besides that, another very interesting aspect about the Frecciarossa network is that many of its services are seasonal. For example, in summer, they run more to the Adriatic East Coast beach destinations such as Rimini, Lecce, Riccione, but also the beach destinations on the Mediterranean side such as Reggio di Calabria and many more. While during the winter it's the opposite, the seasonal schedule changes to many more trains towards mountain ski destinations such as Bolzano in the northeast of Italy. Meanwhile, the Italo route network is also really large but not as big as the Frecciarossa one. First of all, it lacks the international services Frecciarossa operates, and also many cities on the east coast are missing in comparison to the Frecciarossa network. But it's still a large and fair network with over 50 cities served by it. Though this also has to do with the smaller fleet which Italo has in comparison to Frecciarossa. The Italo fleet consists of 25 Alstom AGV trains, as well as 26 Alstom new Pendolino trains called Italo EVO, totaling the amount to 51 trains in the Italo fleet. Meanwhile, the Frecciarossa fleet is much larger, with 4 different train types running. First of all, the Frecciarossa 1000 with 50 in service and up to 23 more ordered. The older ETR 500 Frecciarossa with 59 trains in service, the infamous ETR 700 with 17 in service, and the ETR 600 Pendolino trains with 28 trains in service, making for a total of a whopping 154 trains in service in the Frecciarossa fleet. Hence they have the large advantage in the route network and get the point here. The amount of trains in their fleet also reflects on the amount of daily services which they offer. For this comparison, I used the same random weekday in June for both companies on the country's busiest route, Milan to Rome. There were 47 daily Frecciarossa trains between all Milan and Rome station in comparison to 31 daily Italo trains. As a result, Frecciarossa has many more daily services between Milan and Rome than Italo does. However, Italo here has an advantage over Frecciarossa, which is that they also depart in the early morning, like before 6 AM, and also late at night, while the first Frecciarossa only leaves at 7 AM. But given the large difference in number of daily services, we have to give this point to Frecciarossa as well. Both high-speed trains have multiple travel classes. The Frecciarossa 1000 has standard class, which is supposed to be the basic travel class, premium class, which has the same seats as standard but it also has a snack service included, business class, which has more service and larger and more comfortable seats, and finally the executive class, which is supposed to be a first class with one of the most luxurious high-speed train interiors in the world, and even a 3-course meal menu, which is incredible, an incredible luxury for a high-speed train. The Italo AGV high-speed train also has multiple travel classes on board. The Smart class, which is supposed to be the standard class, the Prima business class, which has larger and more comfortable seats with onboard snack and drink service, and finally the Club Executive travel class with a large selection of meal services and the most comfortable seats on board. However, given that the Frecciarossa 1000 has more travel classes on board, we have to give this point to the Frecciarossa again. Regarding the interior, I'm going to rank this based on the general ambience inside the train, the lighting, and of course the cleanliness. The ambience on board the Frecciarossa 1000 is very nice. It is modern, clean, and also really bright inside, and you can easily walk from one coach to the other. The gangways going through the coaches are rather spacious. The gangway doors are also responsive. My only complaint here is that the door area is rather narrow, and so when you are disembarking or embarking, there are a lot of people and you are waiting in a tiny narrow space, plus the waiting queues sometimes extend into the coach, making disembarking take a very long time on this train. However, the toilets are really clean and modern as well. Meanwhile, the ambience aboard the Italo AGV is also fairly nice. The cabin is also really spacious, bright, and the big advantage here over the Frecciarossa 1000 are the big waiting areas in front of the doors. Unlike the Frecciarossa 1000 where it is really narrow, here you actually have a lot of space near the doors and multiple people can stand there, so that boarding and disembarking is much faster. Also, the toilets on the Italo AGV are also really clean and bright as well. And despite it being a slightly older train than the Frecciarossa 1000, you lock the door with a button, unlike on the Frecciarossa 1000 where it is a handle, which can be very annoying to use. But overall, I found the interior of the Italo AGV to be better, so I will give this point to Italo. The seats of the Frecciarossa 1000 are okay, but they are not that great. First of all, the padding is rather hard and the seat is rather narrow and cramped. It is not that comfortable for journeys over 1.5 or 2 hours. Meanwhile, on Italo on the other hand, the seat is really nice. The padding is great, the seat even reclines a little, and also there is a lot more legroom than on the Frecciarossa 1000. Overall, an amazing product which I would spend even 4 hours in. So we will give this point to Italo as well. With ride quality, I mean the smoothness of the train at 300 km per hour, the top speed. Unfortunately, I was really shocked by the Frecciarossa 1000. As you can see in this clip, the train is not smooth at all. It is shaking all the time and all the objects on the table start moving. And besides that, the train also makes a really loud noise at 300 km per hour. When passing over a junction, it sounds like as if it is going to derail or explode. Like really, it is really loud. Just listen to this in the following clip. Meanwhile, the Italo AGV's ride quality was fairly good. It did not shake at all at 300 km per hour, and there were no loud and strange noises during the ride, ensuring for a comfortable and smooth journey, despite it being a slightly older train. So we have to give this point to Italo as well. The Frecciarossa 1000 onboard passenger information system is one of the best I've had on any train in the world. There are huge information screens in every coach. They display the current train status, whether the train is on time, the next stations, current location, train speed, and even live news headlines, as well as information about your destination, which is really a nice feature of this train. Meanwhile, on the Italo AGV, the passenger information is also nice, but it's not as advanced as on the Frecciarossa 1000. There's only a digital information slide which shows the next stations, as well as the current train speed, local time, and the coach number. Overall, it is also great, but the Frecciarossa 1000 has by far a better information system, so we will give this point to the Frecciarossa 1000. In terms of food options, the Frecciarossa 1000 has a real restaurant on board which serves snacks, hot drinks and even hot dishes for an affordable price for a high-speed train, which is very nice. On the other hand, the ITALO AGV unfortunately does not have any restaurant, only vending machines. So as a result, we will give this point to the Frecciarossa. For the prices, I used a random weekday in June, 3 months in advance to check. And I compared the prices on the route Milan to Bologna. Frecciarossa's starting price was €18.90, which is not bad, but Italo's starting price was even lower at €12.90. On most routes which I compared with in Italy, Italo always tends to be around 5 to 15 euros cheaper, so we will give this point to them. For this point, I will compare the accessibility of their websites and how easy it is to book services through them. First of all, the Trenitalia website is easily accessible and you can book your seats right away. You can even select your seat and it is quite easy to understand which train is moving, and you do not need to create an account for booking. On the other hand, the Italo website is also okay, but it is a little complicated and confusing because for some reason you cannot book seats before you have completed the booking. You must first book and then you must go to manage my reservation. As a result, I will give this point to the Frecciarossa website, the Italia website, because it is slightly easier and more accessible. And the winner of this comparison is the Frecciarossa, the Frecciarossa 1000 to be exact. However, may this video not be your final judgment, because both high-speed trains are amazing, and do choose your train depending on your convenient time and prices, as well as the onboard service on board. If you prefer premium, you might go for Trenitalia because they have better luxury classes on board, while Italo tends to have lower fares and also great connectivity, as well as outside time departure times like 5 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning. Which one do you prefer? Feel free to share a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and I really much appreciate your feedback. Have a nice day and see you soon on the ZRH Train Spotter channel. Goodbye.